NBA Straya. How are you going to GIF? Am I right? That's right. It is NBA Straya today, brought to you by B&T Sports Analytics. It's Friday, February 6th, and our long nightmare is over. The trade deadline is done. We're going to recap it all for you, which is going to be awesome. You got Zubac to the Pacers. You got AO to the Wolves. We're going to talk about winners and losers. It's going to be awesome. And of course, it's all brought to you today by our mates over at B&T Sports Analytics. So get right around them. So the rest of the show, what else have we got? We've got trade deadline recap, winners and losers. We'll quickly hit on a couple of interesting sort of bits and bobs from today's game, like Jock Landale's insane Atlanta debut. Oh my Lord, he was good. So that was really fun. I'll do some yeah-nahs. We'll do an unpopular opinion of the day, Outback Take House, where we're serving up a flame grill take. And we'll set you up for the weekend with our game previews. Sound good? Good. Great. I reckon we should get into it. Lots of trades to talk about. Who were the winners? Who were the losers? All the fun stuff. Let's do it. Episode 1348 of NBA Straya. Oh, let's go! Oh, g'day legends, your mate Jim here, just doing a bit of spruiking for the legends who are bringing you today's show. That's right, today's NBA Straya is brought to you by B&T Sports Analytics. If you're an athlete and you want to improve your game, B&T Sports Analytics is here for you. Just head to the website and let them know what game you'd like them to watch, and they will do the rest. How easy is this, right? B&T Sports Analytics use in-person or virtual analytics to break down your game and help you get to the next level. They work with basketball, AFL, soccer, netball, and golf athletes around Australia, providing holistic game-based feedback for athletes of all levels, which is what I love about them, right? So you can be a professional, amateur, just having a crack, want to get better, they can help you, right? So B&T's team features consultants with experience from the NBA, the NBL, WNBL, EuroLeague, AFL, A-League, Super Netball, and the PGA, and they're ready to give professional grade feedback tailored specifically for you and your game. It's pretty cool, huh? So you can book a virtual or in-person consultation now via their website, bntsportsanalytics.com. It is data-driven sports analysis and consultation. How good is this? And you can find them on Instagram as well, at BT Sports Analytics. So go check them out, bntsportsanalytics.com or B&T Sports Analytics on Instagram. They're legends. We love them. Check them out. Take your game to the next level with B&T Sports Analytics. There you go.
I want you to know.
Watch out for the Shack attack.
Ah, you better. You better watch out for the Shack attack if you are the trade deadline and waking up at 6 a.m. like your mate Jim today and going, right, that must be the end of the trade deadline, and realizing I'd gotten my times wrong and it was 7 a.m. that it finished. Amazing gear by me, because you've got the little fella, the little baby squid. He marches up the hallway at our house. You can hear him dum, 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 and then just starts slamming on the door, doosh, 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 doosh. And you're like, bloody hell, mate. Settle down. It's like a bloody, I don't know, SWAT raid every morning. And it's like, Dad. I'm like, oh, to be honest, I'm already up. What's going on, buddy? And he's like, I want to watch Octonauts. I'm like, oh my God. Yeah, all right, sick. So then I followed the last hour of the trade deadline, basically, to a T, which was very fun, while he's punching through a bunch of Octonauts and deleting some Nutrigrain. What a day it was. What a day it was. Anyway, let's start today's show with the daily... Oh, is it a whip around, is it, Jim? Yes. Yes, it is. Of course it is. That's how we start every show. Now, the biggest news, obviously, today is that Giannis didn't get traded. And also that Jock Landale is the second coming of Wilt Chamberlain. Right? Jeez. He was absolutely awesome today. But Giannis, at the end of the trade deadline on Instagram, was like, Legends don't chase, they attract 100. Smiley face emoji with sunglasses on. Amazing. So after all the passive-aggressive, absolute rubbish he's put this poor Milwaukee Bucks team through, he's like, I just want to stay here. Legends don't chase. Okay, man. Okay. If you're the Bucks, what do you do now? We'll talk about this later in the winners and losers, but wow. The other little bits and bobs of news before we do the trade stuff is that Peyton Watson, you might remember him from being very good for the Denver Nuggets this year, grade 2 hammy strain, which is pretty brutal. And they're not putting a time frame on his return. So literally they get Christian Brown back and then boom, Watson's gone. Kind of feels like Denver's just a little bit cursed this year because Jamal Murray's been pretty chill. Jokic has missed a little bit of time. Gordon, everybody else has been hammered though. It is brutal gear there in Denver. So better check to see if they're like the 49ers and if their practice facility's built next to an electrical substation or something. What do you reckon? We should do that for the Pelicans as well, just saying. Anyway, so that's kind of about it for the news. And look, we're not going to go through all the games from today like we usually would because we've just got the trade deadline. It's a big Friday show. The games today are pretty fun, a bit janky. Utah won an absolute cracker against, what was it? Who'd they play? Utah, that's right. So Jock Landale went up against his old team. The team that he got traded from while he was sitting on the plane ready to go to Utah, getting told by his agent to get off the plane because he's going to Atlanta, and comes out and drops a 26, 11, and 5 with 4 blocks. It's awesome. We'll talk about that again later in a very special news segment too. Orlando killed Brooklyn. You had Washington beat Detroit because Detroit, and we sort of hit on this yesterday on yesterday's show. I thought Detroit might be just a little bit janky during the trade deadline stuff, and they might get jumped. I didn't think they'd lose. 126, 117. Chaos, right? And Toronto killed the Chicago Bulls because the Bulls, we'll get to this in a second, they traded for Nick Richards. But they started Jalen Smith at center today. They had Isaac Okoro, Buzelis, Simons, and Jaden Ivey around him. Lockie Olbrich played 4 minutes off the bench. Yabu, literally traded yesterday, comes in and plays 33 minutes. Immediately awesome. 15 and 11. Incredible gear. So anyway, no more Gids though again. Still out with his left hamstring. So that's a little bit worrisome. Just saying. Anyway, that's enough of that. Let's do it. Big trade deadline wrap. And as I mentioned at the top, we are brought to you today by B&T Sports Analytics. Go check them out. They're awesome. Take your game to the next level. Let's do it. Zoobs. He's off to the Pacers. Fascinating trade. We're going to talk about this in winners and losers, but 2 firsts, Benny Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, and a second rounder. Back to the Clippers. Interesting, right? Zubac and Kobe Brown off to the Pacers. Basically, this is the Pacers going, right, we let Miles Turner go, and now we're basically replacing Miles Turner and giving up a little bit of draft capital, and it's cheaper. And you're like, okay, I guess. Now, the weird part about this is that first round pick that they're trading. That's this year's Indiana Pacers pick. Oh, geez, Jim, they're not very good, are they? No, they are, in fact, quite bad. So, geez, Jim, did they just give the Clippers, a really great, awesome, draft? No, they didn't, because it's protected 1 through 4 and 10 through 30. So the Pacers are currently 13 and 38 at the very bottom of the East, and there's only 2 other teams worse than them right now, right? The 12 and 40 Sacramento Kings and the 13 and 40 New Orleans Pelicans. So, the Pacers will just be praying to everything in existence that pick just stays top 4. If it drops 5 through 9, they have to give it to the Clippers. 10 through 30, look, that probably doesn't matter, but and then it'll roll over. And they're also giving a 2029 first to the Clips as well, which is, a bit down the track. But more importantly, this is them going, right, we're awesome next year. This year, don't worry about that. If we get our top 4 pick and we get to keep it, and we've got Zubac, and we've got Halliburton coming back, look out. And I kind of agree with it. Look out. Zoobs is unreal. It's weird because he plays on the Clippers. No one really sort of pays attention to him. You've got Kawhi sucking up all the oxygen from all these trees he planted. You had James Harden. You've got Steve Ballmer. And Zoobs just goes about kicking ass and taking names. Zoobs is awesome. So good job by the Pacers to load up for Bear for next year. Don't mind that. Ayo, Dosunmu got traded to the Wolves from Chicago for Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and 4 seconds. Chicago, amazing year. This is like another... I don't like the Bulls. I'll talk about them again later. But this is the second time this trade deadline they've gone, oh yeah, second draft. We got Jaden Ivey from the Pistons. We've now got Rob Dillingham from the Wolves. A couple of blokes who were like top 6 picks. Were they both the number 6 pick maybe? I think actually Dillingham might have been 8, right? So top 10 picks in the last couple of years. Doesn't work out on that team right now. Maybe it'll work for us. Narrator. I don't think it's going to work out for you in Chicago, guys. They stink. But anyway, so AO off to the Wolves. Love that for Timberwolves. Dillingham and Leonard Miller in a bunch of seconds for Chicago. Okay. Jose Grand Theft Alvarado is off to the Knickerbockers from the New Orleans Pelicans in exchange for Dalen Terry, who they got for Yabu from Chicago. 2 second-rounders and some cash money. Big one for the Knicks because it came out that Deuce McBride is out for the foreseeable future with like a weird sort of core muscle strain. Not great. Pretty bad too. So Jose Alvarado, that's great for the Knicks. We'll talk about that again in a second. Luke Kennard, the Duck Man, he's off to the Lakers because everybody who gets Luke Kennard's like, wow, we've got an awesome shooter. And then completely ignores the fact that he plays as much defense as I do, which is exactly 0. And every team goes, oh, it's great to have Luke Kennard, until they have Luke Kennard and they go, it's good, but is it great? And then he just doesn't play. It's weird. He goes to the Lakers in exchange for Gabe Vincent and a 2032 second rounder. Sure. That's okay from Atlanta because they just got Buddy Hield and Jonathan Kuminga from the Warriors in exchange for the Extreme Zingamil yesterday, right?
Extreme Zingamil.
So they actually kind of, Luke Kennard, bit superfluous. Gabe Vincent, if he's healthy, maybe he plays. I don't know. Chicago, Milwaukee, and Phoenix all did this big swap. The Bucks get Ousmane Deng and Nigel Hayes-Davis. Sure. The Suns get Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey. And the Bulls get Nick Richards. Okay. Sure. Sure. That's certainly a thing. The Bulls, however, they're like, oh, good, we've actually got a center. The Suns are like, okay, we've got Cole Anthony and Amir Coffey, I guess. And the Bucks are like, hello. We still have Giannis. Oh, yosh. Charlotte and Dallas pulled off a trade as well. Malachi Branham, who came over from the Washington Wizards in the Anthony Davis trade, remember that? Goes to Charlotte in exchange for Tyus Jones, who's off to Dallas after being traded to Charlotte from Orlando yesterday as well. So Tyus Jones, he's just doing the Jock Landale, hopping on a plane, hopping on another plane. Denver sent Hunter Tyson and a second-round pick to Brooklyn. Brooklyn now own all of Denver's 2032 draft, so their first and second rounders. Love that. Boston, Nets, Utah, Charlotte swaps, where Boston just jettisoned a bunch of players to get under the tax and the apron and stuff. Josh Minott goes to the Nets. That's good. I think he's got a bit of something to him. Bobby Boucher goes to the Utah Jazz, and Xavier Tillman goes to Charlotte. And Boston are like, we don't have to pay a bunch of cash. It's like, all right. That's what this is all about, I guess. And Eric Gordon went to Memphis for a second-round pick swap to get the Sixers out of the luxury tax as well. Also, Memphis waived George Niang as part of that, which is a bit crazy. I love the minivan. The G-Wagon. So there you go. So those are the moves that happened today. And as this is all unfolding, we're finding out Milwaukee are like, nah, we're good. We don't want to trade Giannis. Giannis is like, I want to stay here. This is good. We find out that Memphis are not excited about the trade packages they're getting for Ja Morant. So they peace out. And outside of that, there's no other sort of, like, Zoobs came a little bit from, like, I don't know, out of nowhere. But there had been enough chatter about the Clippers after the Harden trade and getting Garland that it sort of felt like, oh, well, maybe they are sort of going to start looking at what they can build into, and maybe the return for Zoobs will be pretty good. And if they get the number 5 pick in this draft, that's good. The Clippers, they'll take that. That's awesome. It's a very good draft. If it doesn't convey, and you got 2 firsts, I mean, it's like a bit, how you going? But still, Zoobs is good. don't know how long-term it was going to work out there for the Clippers with Garland and Kawhi and whatever the hell they're going to plan on doing now, but it's just a bit of a mess there in Clipland, which we'll get to in a second. So, yeah, that was a bit about it, right? So there'll be a bunch of other moves today and tomorrow with buyout guys, and Cam Thomas got waived by Brooklyn. Golden State with the Zinger move obviously took themselves out of the Giannis sweepstakes. Kuminga and Buddy Hield in Atlanta. We'll see what happens there. But look, all in all, we got to the end of this and went, okay, thumbs up, right? So let's do some trade deadline winners and losers according to your mate, Jim.
Oh my God. I won! Recapping our day's top story, the winner of today's state lottery is me, Kent Brockman.
There you go.
Can we get a shot of me? There you go.
There you go. Right, winners. Again, trade deadline winners and losers episode is brought to you by B&T Sports Analytics. Go check them out. Take your game to the next level with some awesome virtual or in-person consultation and coaching. Go check them out. B&T Sports Analytics. Go find the website or check them out on Instagram. They are legends. Right, the winners in this entire trade deadline. People might not agree with this one, but I think the Bucks walk away as a winner. But Jim, they didn't get anything for you. Yes, we know that they didn't trade Giannis. I think that's fine because they can now tank, cross their fingers for a bit of lottery luck where they give up their pick. As part of that New Orleans deal, it goes to Atlanta. The best one of the New Orleans Atlanta one goes to them. But they get the next pick, right? So they're going to hope that there's a bit of a double jump. But either way, if they get a top 6 pick, they're going to be feeling pretty good about themselves. But most importantly, keeping Giannis, I think they're going to get a bigger return this offseason. So I think they're winners for holding firm. Like I said on yesterday's show, I think they can get a better deal in the offseason when there'll be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 teams that have crashed out of the playoffs that suddenly just get a bit janky and a bit desperate and go, let's give them 5 picks for Giannis or whatever. We need to be better. And lose their minds. I love that they held firm and went, I don't like these deals. It was so weird. So it came out that Golden State were yeah, we offered them 4 first rounders off in the future and they didn't want the deal. And I'm like, good. Because but what happens if they're Steph Curry will retire and then they'll be good picks. There's no guarantee those are going to be good picks in 2031, 2032, whatever, right? So I like that they didn't get strong-armed into making another team better and taking a deal that didn't benefit them the very most. Because there's this weird, look, this is a great deal from the Warriors. Is it? Piss off. Right? If they didn't like the Miami deals, if they didn't like the Minnesota deals, if they didn't like the Golden State Warriors deals, guess what? They'll have more suitors in the offseason. Yes, Giannis will be on an expiring deal, but it just makes it easier for him to go, I will sign an extension with this team if you trade me there. He's got a little bit more sway. They've probably got a lot more suitors. Off we go. I think it's a bit of a win-win to a degree. But this is good. I mean, the Bucks are going to stink. They're going to be horrible down the stretch. They are currently 20-29. They've got a lot of tanking to do, right? Because I think they've got the equal eighth worst record right now. There are all the teams outside of the top 10 in the West are at 20-29 or worse. And so then there's only 3 below them in the East. So they're going to need to do some good tanking, but I think they're up to it. Just saying. But also, they're kind of winners because if they get a sick draft pick, they can move that on for somebody else maybe, and maybe you just keep Giannis, right? And that's a win. I don't want Giannis to go anywhere. I want him to retire a buck. It's very simple. He won him a title. He won MVPs there. Yes, he doesn't owe them anything anymore, but it's just nice and cool if he stays there and they're good and can become a contender again. Let's see. Come on. Do your bloody job. The Pacers are winners because Zoobs is awesome. It's kind of it. Benny Mathurin obviously didn't quite fit what they were doing there with Rick Carlisle. And to turn him, it is a bit of a risk, obviously. But Zubac is really, really, really good. Really good. And he sort of gives them a lot more sort of malleability than even maybe Miles Turner gave them. Miles Turner, better shooter, maybe a bit of a better defender, obviously. But Zoobs is just about everything else better. And they've been going about this entire season without a center, really. So to give up Benny Mathurin and a couple of picks, next year you get Tyrese Halliburton back, assumedly. You have Siakam, you've got Naismith, you've got Nemhard. You've got a squad. I love this for the Pacers. I mean, they have a long storied Rick Smits history of big, giant, doofy-looking white centers. That's great. The Pacers fans are going to love him. He's going to look awesome in those jerseys. Let's go, Zoobs. Let's go, Pacers. The Knicks are winners because, yes, they lose Deuce McBride. It sucks. They have to move on from Yabu, but to get Jose Alvarado is rad. He's going to be a quintessential Knick before the playoffs even start. He might be a quintessential Knick before the All-Star break, if he plays a couple of games, because he's going to be absolutely everything Knicks fans love about basketball. He's going to be trying to fight everybody. He's a lunatic. He does weird shit. And he's a fucking hooper, right? He's going to be diving for balls. He's just going to be awesome. I love me some Jose Alvarado. Grand Theft Alvarado is absolute vibes. And I'm kind of here for it. And he's also from Brooklyn. He was born there and stuff, so good on him. Let's go, Jose Alvarado. Washington are big trade deadline winners because they've got Trae Young and Anthony Davis on their team, and they gave up sweet dick all to get them. But Jim, think about their young players in the timelines. I don't even give a fuck. At this point, you can just go, we can either keep them, sign them to long-term deals, or do that and fucking play them a bit and then trade them on for something else, for somebody else who might want them. I think it helps protect your young players to a degree there in Washington, where they're not overloaded with fucking young talent, right? There's enough young pieces there where they've got a direction, and the Trae AD acquisitions make it a little bit more fucking weird, but it's fine. The moves don't hurt them, which in Wizards world is just a huge fucking win, right? For Washington to give up nothing essentially to go get Trae Young and Anthony Davis, which you can then probably flip onto somebody else at some point if you need to, or it'll help basically lift your team up to a degree where your young players are suddenly ready for the spotlight. Alexander Sarr, Keyshawn George, maybe Trey Johnson. I don't know about him yet, but still. Right? It just sort of gives them a bit of shit. And that's smart. Good job, Wizards. OKC. Do you want to free Jared McCain, OKC? They're like, yes. Because they still also own, really they're the biggest winners because they got to free Jared McCain. But even better, they've still got that unprotected Clippers pick this year, which, the Clippers just traded Zoobs and James Harden. Garland's not playing. They're 23 and 27 currently, that Clippers team. Had been awesome. James Harden pieces out, blows it all up, as he does. That's the classic Harden move. And OKC's sitting going, oh, hello. Oh, yeah, we're back on here, are we? Sick. The rich get richer. Boston! Yes, Vooch will help. I think on balance, Boston sort of come out of this as a winner. Anthony Penny-Simons, if you listen to this show, you know that I love him. And Vooch, look, there's a reason the Bulls' defense has always been shit. Right? So he's not going to help your defense. But you're probably going to keep starting Cater anyway because your defense is awesome there in Boston with him on the floor. So Vooch comes off the bench. Maybe he can play next to Cater as well. He can space that floor a little bit. He gives them just way more options, I guess. And this is the thing I've been banging about all year, right? Peyton Pritchard off the bench is a completely fucking different beast to starting Peyton Pritchard. And it felt weird that they didn't start Simons from the get-go and they started Pritchard. And now if we just have, six-man Pritchard again, just saying, that's probably good. But I think on balance, they're a better team with Vooch because it gives them far more options. And essentially when you look at the geometry of what they can do, Vooch completely changes that for Boston and gives them a raft of options they did not have before. His outside shooting, his interior shooting, all this stuff, it's fascinating. So, just saying, love that for Vooch. Love that for the Celtics. They come out on top, despite having to just ship out Minot and Tillman and all the dudes. So, yeah, good job, Boston. Minnesota, I love the AO trade for them. AO Dosunmu, good on him. It's also a bit of a weird one because you've now traded for AO Dosunmu. You give up on Rob Dillingham, who you gave up a first-round pick for. And so you've essentially kind of traded a first-round pick and Nick Alexander-Walker, who you didn't want to pay in the offseason, for AO, who's on an expiring contract and you might have to pay this offseason. I'm a bit confusion. But to get AO for Dillingham, who has not lived up to his promise and vibes that you brought him in for, and a bunch of seconds, AO is fucking good. I watch a bunch of Bulls games. Obviously, Giddy's on the team, right? Lockie Olbrich, let's go. AO is a fucking weapon. And on a good team, he is going to be really, really fucking handy for Minnesota. I love this for them because they're like, we need somebody who can handle the ball and do some other shit that isn't just Ant-Man. And Rob Dillingham's like, me. And they're like, not you. Mike Conley's like, me. It's like, you're too old. Piss off. And they get AO. Not for free, but at a decent discount. That's awesome. Great win for Minnesota. Charlotte. They did a bunch of shit. And you sort of come out of it going, what? Who's on their team now? And you're like, well, they got Kobe White for Colin Sexton, essentially. And you're like, huh. That's good because, as I said on yesterday's show, I think Kobe White, on balance, is better than Sexton. But he's also injured for the minute, and he'll be out until after the All-Star break. But I think he probably helps their range of outcomes on a game-to-game basis, maybe more than Sexton, just to a degree. So I think they come out on top, just. But that team is wildly electric. They're extremely fun, and they have just won over Houston. I think their first 8-game winning streak. I think every other team has had a winning streak of 8 games. I think maybe either like in the last decade, and they haven't. Now they have because they just beat Houston. Charlotte are awesome. As long as they stay healthy, that's the biggest thing. They're awesome. Cleveland. Oh, geez. Oh, really, Jim?
Cleveland!
Yeah, that's right, Cleveland. They got better and they saved $100 million, says Kobe Altman, i.e., I did a great job, didn't I? I guess. But they did. I think that on balance across this trade deadline, they still come out winners because, yes, I still worry about the Harden next to Donnie Mitchell fit. But Harden plays. Garland, you never fucking know, right? And to move on from Lonzo, save a bunch of cash that way, but also get Keon Ellis in and Dennis Schroeder, I am German Rondo. On balance, big win because you know what? It just raises their fucking ceiling that little bit more because they'd been scuffling around, looking a bit dog shit here and there. Now they're good. Cleveland, you save a bunch of money. Great. Still, I think they got better. That's a huge win for me. When the East is this wide open, that's awesome. So, yeah, good on them. Another big winner is obviously the owners saving money. Another winner is aprons. Another winner is luxury tax payments and not paying them. It's the shit that we don't fucking care about, and a bunch of fucking billionaires have convinced us that, no, we should definitely care about that. It's like, no. They've managed to depress costs in this NBA environment with this new CBA, the collective bargaining agreement, right? And so much of this trade deadline, if you look at it on balance, and I'll talk about this in GIANNIS, so many of these moves have been motivated not by getting better, right? So many of them, the vast majority of them, have been about dollars and cents and like getting under an apron, getting out of the luxury tax. Boston, Philly, Toronto, Chicago, Denver, all ducking underneath aprons, luxury tax. Oh, isn't this just awesome for those billionaires who don't have to pay a little bit more fucking money? Piss off. Get better. That's what I want to see. It's weird. No, this is where I'm like, I don't know, uniquely, I don't have a fucking NBA team, right? I'm a Seattle Supersonics fan. They do not exist. If I was a fan of like most of these teams, you'd be like, dude, the Sixers especially, and I'll talk about them and losers, right? Like, if your owner's got more money than God, who fucking cares about luxury tax? Oh, but we don't want to go into the repeater tax. I get that. But guess what? You are the fucking idiots who all agreed to this fucking CBA. You and the Players Association. It's just a fucking shit show now. So, I don't know. If you come out of like a trade deadline like this, there's a lot of fucking noise and kabooms and what the fuck is going on. And you sort of look at it and went, all right, who got better? Oh, yeah. It's a lot of moves for not fucking too much kapow. Speaking of which, let's do some losers.
We're not losers. No, you two are winners. Big winners. When I grow up, I want to marry a big winner like you guys. Shut up.
Losers.
Loser.
Losers. Lose. Giannis. It felt weird, didn't it? He never requested a trade. Fuck off. This is like the loser mentality of like everyone who keeps defending Dallas and Nico Harrison is like, yeah, look, they got Cooper Flag in the Luka Doncic. No. The Cooper Flag thing is completely separate to the Luka fucking Doncic trade. What are we doing? That was an absolute horror show. Nico Harrison be fired into the sun, not just fired from his job. If you're a Mavs fan, you should still be pissed off about all this. But Giannis, like people carrying water for him, he never requested a trade. Get fucked. He did. And they didn't find it. And then he turned around after the trade deadline and was like, I don't want to chase. Come on, come join me here. It's like, all right. It's just, I get that you want to seem like the good guy. Right? Don't fuck around with this weird, fucking mealy-mouthed bullshit of like, I just want to win. It doesn't matter if it's here or anywhere else. I don't want to leave Milwaukee. Okay. Then shush. Just fucking shush and just play your fucking game for Milwaukee. Help them get better. This non-fucking trade request is bullshit. Or just go, look, I'm pissed. I don't want to be here anymore. Trade me, fuckheads. Just this fucking weird wishy-washy shit. The cake and eat it too of like, I don't want them to hate me. It's like, dude, they're not going to hate you. The Bucks fans will always love you. You won them a title. You won a couple of MVPs. You were great. You define an epoch, an era in Milwaukee Bucks basketball. Just, they're not going to hate you for going, can I go now? I'm tired and I want to win more. You know, it's just a weird situation. I thought he sort of like, this weird sort of PR campaign of like, I don't want to be a bad guy. I don't want to be a bad guy. Shush. Guess what? It's not up to you. Right? And then for people to go, he never requested a trade. Fuck you. We're working towards like maybe a trade. I feel like that might be him going, yeah, you can trade me if you want. Memphis, I feel like still come out of trade deadline as losers. But Jim, they got a big haul for Triple J, did they? Did they? 3 firsts. Okay. Utah, you can always sort of like throw that up in the air and see where those picks land. It's fine. Utah raising their win profile. That's cool. And Memphis sort of come out of this going, but we've still got Ja. That's why they're still losers here. Because like they copped the loser tag quite simply because yes, you got a bunch of shit for Triple J, but not being able to move Ja. That's the sort of thing that sticks with you as well, right? Like if he comes back and shreds in the back half of the season, do you think those trade offers are going to come thick and fast in the offseason? Probably they'll be better, right? It's a bit of a prove-it moment, and there'll be the team that misses out on getting Giannis that goes, fuck it, we'll take Ja. Looking at you, Miami, right? Maybe this lights a fire under his dumb ass. I don't know. But it still feels like you got a good return for Triple J. But with Ja still there, it sort of just stymies the simple idea of like, we're tearing this down to the studs and having another crack. And if Ja just fucking turns up to work and is good in the back half of the season, I'm okay with this. But it just sort of like feels a bit loserish overall. Bit of a strange one. The Sixers, as I mentioned earlier, you've got a fucking owner who's richer than God. You give away Jared McCain for like a shit first and a couple of like 3 seconds, like whatever. McCain, I feel like, is much more valuable to the Sixers than he is to the Thunder, right? As I said in the winners, OKC get Jared McCain for a bag of fucking chips and he kind of like helps maybe They've already got a million dudes. The Sixers don't have a million dudes. And then they have the Eric Gordon trade, and you're like, oh, I think this might have all just might have been to get under the luxury tax. Huh. And I feel like you've pissed off Maxey now as well. He sounded fucking just heartbroken that McCain's not there. And McCain's a fun dude. The dances, the fingernails. He's a live wire. We love him. And you ship that dude out? This has always been the downfall of Daryl Morey teams, hasn't it? Right? He's never been a vibes guy because he's too much of a fucking dork. And dorks don't understand vibes. Really, it's like, but you see, we need to get superstars. How'd that fucking work out with Paul George, idiots? And James Harden with Embiid. Great. Yeah, awesome. The vibes, however, of having someone like McCain in the building, and this is the biggest thing with me, right? Young guard, can shoot the piss out of it. Awesome backup long-term for Maxey, VJ. You've got a fucking young, cool backcourt rotation that just fits nice, works. There's not VJ's awesome. Great. And you go and fuck it up to get under the luxury tax. Oh, but look at all the assets we got back. You know what? Assets don't make people smile. Right? They're not vibes in the locker room of like, hey guys, we're going to be okay. It's all right. Hit some threes. Those assets aren't hitting your threes right now in a fucking, back third of the season heading into the playoffs when you need those vibes. That's what pisses me off about this as well. And Josh Harris is so fucking rich. Like, who cares about the luxury tax? So yeah, you combine that with the Morey vibe of like, vibes never matter. Fuck off. Vibes always matter. Big vibes guy, me. Dallas, obvious losers. They give up on Anthony Davis, and it seems weird still. Why do it now? I get flushing all the Luka trade gear and fucking moving on. But Anthony Davis next to Cooper Flag, there were moments where you're like, that's not fucking bad at all. Ooh, hello. Wouldn't you want to see more of this? And if nothing else, once he comes back from his fucked thumb, like if he comes back and he's good again in the back half of the season, guess what? You can fucking trade him for more in the off season. Because all you got were two absolute dog shit firsts from Washington, one of which is an OKC pick, which will be like 29th or 30th this year. Like, and a bunch of fucking other shit. You're like, come on, man, what are we doing here? So the Dallas Mavericks, like, it's still such a shit return for Anthony Davis. I don't know why they did it. Right? Just fucking hold on to him and go, But this feels like you're trying to win the PR battle. Oh, but we got 2 firsts in the AD trade. Yeah, and, here was your big thing back in return for Luka Doncic, right? Oh, but we got Cooper Flag. No, you didn't get him in the trade. That's just pure fucking luck, you idiots. So stop fucking saying this sort of shit. Anyway, Dallas, remember defense wins championships, and now AD's gone, so tough one. Miami, deadline losers, because they didn't do anything. But I guess I could almost have them in the sort of honorable mentions. Now, I might move Miami to the honorable mentions, but I put them initially in losers because they sort of struck out on everything, right? And they're the sort of team that would come from the fucking clouds in years past and just get Giannis or get Ja for absolutely nothing. And like we saw Pat Riley dancing the other day, that's good. Does he still have his fastball? We don't know. But I guess they can push this to the off season when they can trade far more picks because of the weird protections on some of them. But still, not being able to move some things around and get some stuff done with Hero and Ware and stuff, bit worrisome. Just saying. Brooklyn, but Jim, they made a million moves and got a bunch of assets. Yeah, but they didn't move Michael Porter Jr. for they weren't able to get a big fucking return for Michael Porter Jr. And all the moves that they made were fine in a we're tanking so fucking hard vacuum that it's good, right? But having to waive Cam Thomas, getting nothing in return for Michael Porter Jr., it's just a bit, what the fuck is Sean Marks doing? Oh, but bro, we've got so many seconds, eh? It's like, great. Do you have anything to build your franchise around? I'm okay with keeping Michael Porter Jr. if the deal's not there, because again, in the offseason, you might have a better one coming, but tough scenes there in Brooklyn. Clippers, and the Clippers fans Deadline losers. The Zoobs trade is awesome if you get the fifth pick in this draft. Right? I'm also just a bit like, all right, is this the plan now? Like down to the studs? Like Chris Dunn and Kawhi Leonard just going to be like, what the fuck are we doing here? This sucks. And I fully expected this morning to then get like at the very end of the trade deadline bit, and Kawhi Leonard has been traded to, and you're like, Portland? What the fuck? Detroit? Hang on. Or like, I don't know, Miami, and you're like, ooh, look out. That sort of shit. And it just never eventuated. So you've got old busted up Kawhi, who's still playing fucking awesome. And now you don't have Zoobs. Harden's gone. You got a couple of firsts. Okay, but is Garland going to play? I don't know. It's kind of weird that they go, oh, we'll get younger with the 10-year younger guard in Garland as opposed to Harden, but we'll trade Zoobs. I'd rather keep fucking Zoobs and Garland, I guess, but 2 firsts, sure. The WTF are you guys doing? Part of winners and losers. Utah. The Triple J one is like, again, in a vacuum, you gave up a bunch of stuff. You get a bunch better defensively. You get a bunch of other just assets sort of like floating around in this Triple J deal. It just feels weird, though, next to Kessler, Lowry, and Triple J. But at the same time, I get it. But WTF, right? You're kind of like, so you're going to get better this year and like ruin your tank? Or are you so bad now that it doesn't, like you can't ruin it, right? Because you are already 16-36. So he's not going to get you that much better where you start leapfrogging teams and make the 10 seed. So I don't know, but it's still just a bit, I guess you look at this in a similar situation as the Zubac trade for the Pacers, right? And you go, well, for next year, we're going to be loaded for bear. We're going to get one more pick now, then we're good. So, okay. So it's fine. But it's just still Triple J was the guy. Okay, sure. The Pelicans. WTF are these dudes doing? Right. Jose Alvarado, but we've got Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Zion. Everybody's just staying. Okay. Great job, Joe Dumas. Amazing work. Okay. Atlanta. WTF was that? Cumdog Millionaire. The Extreme Zinger Meal as well. Is he supercharged?
Supercharged Zinger Burger.
He's gone, right? So is he supercharged or not? But you get Buddy Hield and Cumdog Millionaire in exchange. Okay. Their biggest acquisition might have been Jock Landale, considering today's game. Bloody hell. Sacramento. This is just evergreen. What the fuck are they doing? DeAndre Hunter is going to solve everything. They're 12-40 and they're the worst team in the NBA. And the Kings were one of the few bad teams in the NBA who weren't fucking trying to be bad. They're just shit. Coaches shit, GM shit. It's all shit. Players are shit. Put together shit. They should be called the Shitramento Kings or the Sacramento Shits. Like one of the two, your choice. But the Sacramento Shits is right there. Because they're gross. They couldn't cash in Sabonis. They still have DeMar. They've still got Levine. They've still got Rusty. Now they've got DeAndre Hunter. Fuck, why? Just why? What is going on there in the Kings? And, of course, the most WTF team, I think, of all of them in this trade deadline, your Chicago Bulls. They have 9 extra second-rounders. 9! What are they going to do with 9 second-rounders? Oh, but you see, it's really important to have second-rounders because it gives you lots of options. Oh, don't fucking care. Give me just, you get to have lots of cracks, and they're the Bulls. You look at their history of development, and you're like, wow, that's... And then Patch Williams just pops up, and you're like, get the fuck out of here, you. Even Buzelis, like, I don't know, man. Like, it feels like it's a very fucking flat trajectory so far. I like getting Rob Dillingham and Jaden Ivey as cheap fucking swings. Yabu, cheap swing as well. Nick Richards, cheap swing. But this team is, like, they're going to be so strange to watch the rest of the season. My favorite thing is Arturas Karnisovas came out. He's like, yeah, look, we don't want to be in the middle like we have been for the last 4 years. We're all trying to find the guy who did this. It was you, Arturas. What are you talking about? But the fact that they came out of the Vooch, Levine, DeRozan, AO, Kobe White, Caruso era, and got exactly zero extra first-round picks from all of that is amazing. Absolutely amazing. We don't want to be in the middle. Okay, Malcolm. Arturas kind of said, what the fuck? So he's now put together the world's jankiest roster. Giddey's already hurt. Are they tanking? Like, what the fuck are they doing? They're 24 and 28. Charlotte have just jumped them today. Love that. And you know, the Bulls' sweet spot is 3 games over or under 500. Now they're 4 games under, and here we are. What a mess. Wild team, though. Kind of funny. But still no firsts that they got that are extra. Honorable mentions, Toronto getting out of the octroi bargee business and getting under the luxury tax. Sure. Chris Paul, bought out, I assume. Denver, again, luxury tax, didn't get any better. Sure. Houston was probably the other, what are they doing, teams? I just assume they're waiting for Chris Paul to be bought out and bring him back in. So, yeah, bit of a weird one. But there you go. That's all the trade deadline winners and losers. I mean, like some Spurs not doing anything. Orlando sort of moving on from Tyus Jones, that sort of stuff. The Suns getting a couple of little bits and bobs. I talked about them beforehand as well. It's like Nick Richards and what else they got, and that's exactly what happened. The Blazers sort of hanging out, holding on to Matisse. Sure. Everybody else sort of did a little bit of something, didn't they? It was a pretty fun deadline, bit chaotic. And we'll talk about this a little bit more in the NRs, but what was it all for, Jim? What was it all for? All right, let's take a quick break, come back with some NRs right after this.
This is Josh Giddey.
G'day, this is Andrew Gaze.
This is Jack White.
This is Joe Ingles.
This is Dyson Daniels.
This is Chris Anstey.
This is Matthew Delvedova.
This is Shane Hill.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
And you're listening to NBA Straya.
You're listening to NBA Australia.
And you're listening and watching NBA Straya.
This is NBA Australia. Let's do it.
All right, let's do some nahas, and they are brought to you by, that's right, B&T Sports Analytics, our mates. If you want to take you or your kids' game, this is the other clinching thing about B&T Sports Analytics. It's for all ages, all levels. All you got to do is you've got to hit them up and get around our mates at B&T Sports Analytics. Their expert consultants are ready to help you improve, help your kid improve. So book them in today for a consultation. They offer Melbourne-based in-person consultation for AFL and basketball, virtual analysis worldwide, an unmatched approach to holistic athletic development. I love that. And connections to people and performance pathways that you won't find anywhere else. So to take your kid's game to the next level, check them out at btsportsanalytics.com or B&T Sports Analytics on Instagram. Go check them out. They're legends. We love them. Go check them out. Right, some quick yeah-nahs out of the trade deadline. Jim, does Giannis play for the Bucks again ever? Yeah, nah. I think so, yeah. I think he comes back at some point during the season, this season, just to prove he's still got it. I reckon he's super competitive. I think he'll come back for the Bucks, and it'll be kind of fun. And then he might get traded at the end of the season, right? He seems like the dude who will sort of come back and like, yeah, we're already really bad. How much are we going to tank? I don't know if they're going to sit him for the rest of the year. I think that'd just be a little bit too much bad vibes. So I reckon he comes back. What about Ja, Jim? Does he play for the Grizzlies again this year? Yeah, nah, yeah, I think he has to, or else they're rooted and they're going to get nothing in return for him. So I'd much rather Ja come back, show that he's still got it. Like that game that he played overseas against Orlando was electric, and then boom, he got hurt again. That's the Ja problem. He needs to get out there and prove that he can play for 6 weeks straight. Let's see it happen, Ja. Let's see it happen. Play for 6 weeks straight. Don't shoot any guns. Don't punch any kids. Simple. The big one, though. Did any contender actually make themselves better at this trade deadline? Yeah, nah. Yeah, a couple did, I reckon. But not as many as you might think. OKC did. Jared McCain is just like a nice little extra piece slightly better. They also just sort of need some warm bodies at this point. They've got so many injuries, it's crazy. But they are better, I think, on balance than they were. The New York Knickerbockers of New York City and Jose Alvarado, that is a nice little tiny win now move that I'm here for. They did get better. Cleveland, as I said earlier, they turned Darius Garland, who never played, Lonzo Ball, who played every second game, into Harden, Keon Ellis, and Dennis Schroeder. I am Toronto, and they are better for it. And the Minnesota Timberwolves, turning Rob Dillingham, Leonard Miller, and a bunch of seconds into Ayo Dosunmu. Love it. They definitely got better, right? I appreciate the Pistons sort of not doing much and not sort of screwing up their chemistry. The Celtics, I think, got better as well, but I sort of, as I said, right, it gives them more malleability. I think they got better. I don't think it's like an absolute home run swing that they're going to make the finals now because of it, but they are better. Like the Heat, the Sixers, Raptors, I don't know. See, it gets pretty thin on the ground. The Spurs didn't do anything. The Nuggets didn't. Houston didn't. The Lakers maybe, I don't know. But yeah, it's like OKC, the Knicks, Cleveland, Minnesota, and that's a big part of it, I reckon. Unpopular opinion of the day after all of that. Jim, what do you reckon?
Now look at me, please. Look at me. Look at me. Look at me.
Now, I talked about this on the NBA coffee run video this morning, right? The trade deadline, the annoyance that I have with it is all the frothing over all the movement. So, where's he going to go? Where's he going to go? Who's going to get him? What's going to happen here, man? Without any sort of sense of context or what those moves actually end up meaning. Right? It's the frothing over the movement, but zero culpability about what it actually means for your team, for that player, for the fans. And it's just all this fucking movement, change, bang, now, movement, change, bang, trades, hot stove, bang, trade. You're like, fucking, all right. As I just went through all those winners and losers, we've sort of broken down how it makes some teams better. And on the court, you think about, right, how are these going to, Ayo Dosunmu is the perfect ideal sort of fit in Minnesota because he fits a need. He's exactly what they want. And even the Anthony Davis and Trae Young discussion that I had about Washington, right? That's fascinating. I love this shit. And I could talk about it for hours, as you can tell. So, I don't know. There's just so much fucking noise about trades and player movement and sort of zero actual sort of so what does this all mean now sort of vibe. So, yeah. We're going to do power rankings, the post-trade deadline power rankings on, I think, Sunday night show. If I get around to doing it, I do have pub cricket on Sunday, and then we've got the Super Bowl party on Monday, so we'll talk about that in a second. But, yeah, essentially, all that trade movement, all the player movement, how much of a championship needle do you reckon actually got moved this week? Right? Probably not that much. Just leaves me feeling a bit weird. That's the unpopular opinion of the day. And finally, a bit of OUTBACK TAKE. It's Friday at Outback, and you know what that means. 4 for 1 TGIF oil drum cans full of tasty Foster's Lager. That's right, the cans are as big as your bloody head. They go down fast. I'll tell you what. It's Australian for beer, but don't tell anyone else that because no one really drinks it over here. But anyway, today's Fine Girl Take is, after all this trade deadline hullabaloo, we should just scrap the All-Star game, take a week off, have the trade deadline in the middle of that week, and you know what we should do? The day after that, have an oldies game. Have a couple of the old blokes roll out there and go, back in my day we were so much tougher. Prove it, dickheads. Get out there. Go on. You got to be retired for I don't know, 5 years from the NBA. Oldies game. Let's go. Done. Great idea. Thank you, mother, for the rabbits. Only at Outback. Either that or the 2-player White Man Can't Jump tournament that I talked about on yesterday's show. Nice. All right, how about NBA Straya's Stat of the show? This one also brought to you by B&T Sports Analytics. Go check them out on Instagram or at btsportsanalytics.com. The stat of the day is Jock Landale today at 4 blocks. That's pretty good in his debut for the Hawks. That's his second highest blocks tally in his entire 267 game NBA career. Why did I write down 366? It is only 267 games. So out of 267 games, he's only gone above 4 blocks once. His career high was 7. This is the second highest he's ever had. He finishes the game with 26 points, 11 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 blocks. That's his best ever game across those numbers, right? You know how many times anyone has hit those numbers this year? The answer is 4 times. Now 5. Twice by Victor Wembanyama, might have heard of him. Jarrett Go-the-Fro Allen when he went absolutely off his head in that insane game against Portland last week, right? When he had the 40, 17, and 5. And his teammate, Evan Mobley, who had a 29, 13, and 7 with 4-block game a couple of weeks ago as well when Cleveland played Sacramento. Jock Landale now joins that list. That's pretty bloody good. And that is the stat of the day. All right. No Australian player watch today because we've already talked about Jock, his awesome game. Josh Green went off as well. He had 14, 4, and 4 in very, very short amount of time. Dyson was okay for the Hawks in that Jock game as well. But Jalen Johnson was just unreal. Nick Alexander-Walker crushed it. Dyson finished with 11 on 12 shots, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, and that was it. The other one is that Duop Reef got waived by the Hawks. He was out injured for the rest of the season. That sucks for the Great Barrier Reef. But otherwise, fingers crossed for everybody else, right? Nice. All right, a quick Luke Longley Award, the Role Player of the Week Award. How about the Duckman, Luke Kennard? As I said earlier, all he does is shoot the piss out of it, and then teams just get sick of him. And so you have these moments of well, but is Luke Kennard good? And you're like, well, yes. So, but can you play him in a playoff series? You're like, he's now been on Detroit, the Clippers, Memphis, Atlanta. Now he's off to the Lakers. His career 3-point percentage is 44.2%. You'd be like, wow, he's super valuable. It's only in really little spots though. So 23 minutes a game across his career now as well. And just sort of every team gets into the Luke Kennard experience and goes, well, this is okay, I guess. And then they get to the end of it and they're it's fine. Oh, okay, see ya. And then they bounce. So, but look, he fulfills a role and then sort of gets pushed to the edge of the rotation. But interesting role player of the week, Luke Kennard. All right, let's do some game previews for tomorrow. We'll do a quick Patty Mills game day baller. Game day. Twitter check-in. He did post earlier as well. So let's have a look. Patty with the good hair. Patty, there he is. One new post. That's it. Patty Mills game day baller Twitter check-in. Ready doesn't announce itself. There's a picture of him in the gym. Ready doesn't announce itself. I guess. Yeah. Nice. All right. Let's do some game previews for Saturday. Game previews. Thanks, Inadvertent Bane. Not a problem, Jim. How's it all going? Yeah, not bad. You can find all of our picks over at Dabble. Hit the social bio or the link in the show description to take you there. Go check them all out. Yeah, doing all right. We've got a bunch of them for NFL Straya as well for the Soupy, which will be fun. But tomorrow's games, we've got Miami at Boston. Fun game. The Heat are 7.5-point underdogs against the Celtics. In Boston, Jaylen Brown is back and healthy. I think Miami can keep this close, though. The 7.5 was a bit weird. Norm, Bam, they just might be able to keep that one close. I don't know if Boston will just smash them. I'll take Miami plus 7.5, I reckon. We've got the Knicks as well tomorrow, which is a fun one, up against the Detroit Pistons, who just lost to Washington. I'm going to take the Knicks. They're 1.5-point underdogs. I'm taking New York. Detroit just looked a little... I knew that they're sort of be a little bit all over the shop against Washington today. That's why we picked them. But the Knicks will be on. They'll be up for it. These two teams hate each other. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to go the Knicks. Indy at Milwaukee. Now, there's a couple of teams trying to tank. I reckon the Bucks at home are 1.5 point underdogs. I'll take the Bucks. The Pacers are a little bit good here and there, but the Bucks, like yesterday in that Pelicans game, it's like they can't get out of their own way sometimes. So I'm going to take the Bucks here. Speaking of the Pelicans, they go to Minnesota. The Wolves are 11.5 point favorites, and the Wolves do sometimes have problems with just kicking the crap out of bad teams. The Pelicans, however, always just sort of play teams close and are just weird and stupid sometimes. I'm going to take the Pels plus 11.5. It's just too many points. They'll do something weird and keep it close, won't they? Won't they? Memphis go to Portland. I'm going to take the Grizzlies because they grit and grind and play very hard. Plus 7.5. Ty Jerome's playing off his head. Portland, I think, are going to play Scoot Henderson for the first time this year, which is kind of neat. I think that'll throw them off a little bit. Let's take the Grizz plus 7.5 to keep that one close. And then Clippers, Sacramento. Clippers looked all out of sorts the other day. Now it's Brook Lopez and John Collins as their center rotation. I reckon the Kings might have a crack here. They're 3.5 point underdogs at home. Fires a laser. Let's break this 10-game losing streak, Kings. Come on. But there you go. That's it. That's the show, though. So we'll be back on deck, as I said, maybe Sunday night for a post-trade deadline power ranking show. But because I've got pub cricket Sunday afternoon and we've got the Super Bowl party Monday, we might struggle, but I'm going to try to get it up and see how we go. Either way, should be apples. And you can still follow us on Twitter, Facey, IG, TikTok, YouTube, all the good stuff. If we don't do it on Sunday night, we'll come out on Tuesday. That's my promise to you. And we'll do the big power rankings and catch up. Just saying. Now, NFL Australia, myself and Gaz, that Super Bowl preview show is up. And we also have our big Super Bowl party at the Catfish in Fitzroy here in Melbourne. So if you want to come smash some tins, watch the game, watch my beloved Pats hopefully win. What do I mean, hopefully? Definitely win, of course. Come hang out. It's free. Just come out, hang out, drink some beers. We're upstairs in the big screen. It's awesome. At the Catfish, NFL Australia, Soupy. Jim does Supercoach as well. I don't know how we're going to get the NBA Supercoach show this week with the Super Bowl party that day. Going to be a bit of a struggle, but subscribe to it anyway. It's always fun. Rate, review, start, subscribe all the shows on your podcast apps. Get around all the bands that play on our show as well. From Oslo, behind the intro and outro song, check out House Hats, Josh De Laurentiis, Fascinated Goldmines, Ramshackle Army, Iowa Sex Trader, Green, and Dozers. They're behind all the tunes you hear throughout the show. And, you know, get around them on your music streaming platform of choice. And, of course, thanks to our sponsors today, B&T Sports Analytics, data-driven sports analysis and consultation. You can find them on Instagram at BT Sports Analytics or check them out at btsportsanalytics.com. They rule. Go support them the way they support us. You can also shout us a beer at buymeacoffee.com/NBA Straya. All the good stuff there. Righto, there you go. Here's to a big weekend. Here's to a big Super Bowl win for my Pats. Trade deadline's done. Let us know what you thought. We'll do a bunch of yeah-nahs next week as well, so send them through. And that's it. I'm going to run. I will catch you when I catch it. Maybe Tuesday, maybe Sunday night. We'll find out, won't we? This NBA Straya saying, look after yourselves, would ya? And later, host.